this this looks like what I think it is. I'm actually in hell. Okay, so fellas, tonight I am gonna be talking about uh, my unimaginable experience of me being in hell. So, uh, this is something that hardly anyone talks about, and I've actually been keeping this topic, or this story, I would say, to myself for a long time, I would say. This happened to me on September 2023, and I still have these, let's just say, I still retain the memories of what happened to me over there. So, um, I'm having this feeling that's like part of me doesn't want to tell what happened, but if I don't tell what I've seen, then folks around the world will never understand what this realm is. Now, there are several stories of people talking about this. I mean, that's just their perspective of how they would perceive it as hell, but this is my own testimony. Anyway, I'm gonna try to stick stick this one out because um I am willing to tell you guys of what in the world happened to me. So to start this off, this happened on September 2023, and I've I had like an unexpected astral attack um, back then, and somehow I just couldn't get a break from these attacks. I just couldn't. So I was in this dark shadow realm, and the realm did have my house like the entire layout, I would say, and I was just getting attacked, and I tried fighting back, which I'm trying to protect my family. That's all I care about. But obviously, the house I was in wasn't truly my house because this was all just an illusion. That's what this was. So, I mean, I kept thinking about I'm defending my family from this. That's what I'm focused on. But I didn't really think about that this was all just an illusion. I was still too focused on that. So, I kept fighting back these evil spirits out of the way, and I kept using my own abilities to kind of fight back. And I felt kind of weak in a sense. Like my power wasn't really much for these demons I was facing. And there wasn't that many though. I was only facing like maybe one or two, and I was just like trying to fight back as hard as I can, but they kept pushing me back without even physical contact. I was just getting like telekinesis or whatever. I was getting all that right against me, and I had enough of that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I mean, I managed to, hold up my own. I don't know why I was on my own, but I had to deal with it. So when I got upstairs, I was actually trying to pretty much make sure that I was not gonna get ambushed. I was like, okay, I think I'm okay, but I wouldn't say I'm okay because I'm still in this shadow realm that I don't belong in. So I come up, I would say, I already said I come up, but I am in the kitchen and I'm looking at the window, and the window is obviously the same thing as right now on this earth. So the features and everything were still exactly how I would see it as home. So I look out and I could see a bright light horizon. Like right there, I'm like, I'm probably gonna, you know, make my way to get the hell out of this. That was my plan. So I decided to run down the stairs, get to the front door. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting the hell out of this damn place, and I'm gonna be free. That was my plan. So I manifested my own light to fly over, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm getting out of here, no matter what. So I flew over. I was flying very fast, like very fast. Like I was just like tempting just to get the hell out of this battle. And this is where things get very twisted, in a sense, because I was not ready for this. As soon as I'm started flying where the light horizon is, where I saw, across the window over there, everything around me started getting very weird, and everything started getting twisted, and my hearing, my vision was going haywire. I didn't understand what was going on. So I was like I don't know, my memory is a little hazy. I think my spirit guide team is kind of like trying to prevent me from remembering this, but I'm trying to make sure I get as much as I could. So just give me a moment. Like for some reason, the hearing part though, everything was like scratchy and pretty much like think of how like you would listen to a music or like a video audio. Think of like I was getting a lot of distortion sounds, and it was very bad. And I was like, what is going on? And I can hear crackling occurring, and unexpectedly I am in this burning wasteland that I don't recognize. I've never been to this place. And oh man. So as soon as I realized that, this burning wasteland that's kind of like dead sand or whatever, this, I don't know, I was like, this does not look right. It doesn't feel right at all. And I look around while I'm still flying. I thought I was gonna get taken out. I was like, how is my light still hanging on? So I look around and I'm like, I can see a lot of like just burnt wasteland, and there's a lot of lava around me, and I can see volcanoes like across the horizon. I can see that, and I'm like, this looks like what I think it is. I'm actually in hell. I don't know how I got there. So when I'm actually trying to fly away, but unexpectedly I get encountered by this large demon that looks like a freaking troll from a video game that I played before. And this troll, it was the exact like replica of the spitting image of this video game troll thing I've encountered before. And it had a large stick weapon on, and it kept running, like it kept chasing behind me so fast. And I decided to do this though, because I'm still flying. I haven't landed. I am still flying. I try to do this though. I flick it off, and I kind of stun a little bit, but it still keeps going and following me. So I've kind of like take a turn to the left, and then it's like a chase my kit. Let me try doing this again. I flick off, boom, knock it off again, but it still wasn't enough. Until at this point here, I get to this massive lava lake, that is very weird, very disturbing. There's a land in the center. It's like a burnt wasteland, whatever. And the one thing I truly did not want to do, that I know this happened to me a lot, was that I don't want to land on the ground essentially because I know that there are invisible demons right on the ground waiting for me to just to make my final landing. I did not want to do that. But as soon as I got to this lava lake, whatever you want to call it, I looked around and be like I was hesitating. I was actually getting anxiety. Like I had no idea what to do. Like where's my way like around this? Like how am I gonna get out? I had no idea what to do because I felt like this place felt like it was infinitely. There's no escape. That's what it felt like to me. Like I did not know what to do. But the only option I had left to do was to close my eyes and my spirit would return back to my physical body. And that was the only way to escape. And I wasn't scared physically, but my whole mind was just shooken up. My mind was just shooken up like crazy. I was in full of fear in my mind. So I decided to meditate to get all of this out of my mind as quickly as possible. And I did manage to, let's say I closed the tunnel way of how I came in to back to the, you know, to my house because I didn't want any other evil spirit following me back. I made sure of it. So I meditated, trying to make sure that the white light was kind of showering me down. That way I don't have any attachments or any negative energy pull me back. So I kept doing that and I was like, you know what? I don't want to remember any of this. That's what I did back in September 2023. Um, that was just like probably the craziest, or I would say one of the absolute, just, I don't know how to say it though, craziest wastelands I've ever traveled to. Fast forwarding um, to this year, I pretty much was thinking like, should I make this testimony? And I asked my spirit guide team if I should, and they told me sort of like a yes and no, but pretty much this is like sort of like a spiritual test for me though. They're pretty much telling me like it's up to you if you want to explain what you've seen, and pretty much I've told you guys about what I saw. Um, the thing I do want to explain here is that I was pretty much set up from the beginning. What I mean by that is um, whoever um, orchestrated the attack and the setup, um, they told me that it was the devil. Obviously, it was. The name doesn't really matter. Even if I did know the name, I would not tell you guys the name if I had to. But obviously, no name. But I know it was a devil for sure, um, according to my spirit team. And trying to kind of calm down a little bit. I'm still kind of a bit shaken up of what I saw before, and the one thing that you guys might be kind of curious though is that how was your light able to stay active? Because that realm is so dark that I thought that any light source would be extinguished. That was my first thought. I thought that my light would not survive. But I was still flying earlier. I was still hovering, and I wasn't even taken down. And I did not understand, like, how was my light able to hold on this long? Even though I wasn't that long in there. Like, I wasn't even staying that long. But to survive this long, I don't know. According to my spirit team, they told me that the white light that I was connected with, it was anchored to me the entire time that I was there. And to my thoughts about it, I should have been damned. I should have been. But I wasn't, though. The white light kept me safe the entire time, even though I was kind of in trouble, but I was still protected, and the white light saved me at the very end. Speaking of the time I spent in there, I do want to tell you guys that there is something else that many of you will question. And I kind of heard this before a couple of times, and somehow that the time I spent in there wasn't actually the way of how you would think how long I spent in there. So what I mean by that is, I was told that I was only there for maybe a little over 2 minutes. Man, I don't know how to say this though, but the time I spent in there was pretty much a very long time. And niggas might be very confused, like, what do you mean a very long time? Because I've said earlier that I was only there for like a little over 2 minutes. But the way how time behaves in spirit realms is very different. But in hell, the timing behavior, it's just absolutely something else that you would not imagine to yourself. And I'm still trying to understand this a bit. But right now I'm not trying to understand too much of it because that's for something else maybe later on in my journey. But anyway, to reveal the truth about how long I've spent in hell, you guys be very surprised about this. So, for 2 minutes, or a little over 2 minutes, the exact amount of time I spent in hell was 1,835,700,350 years. That's how long I was actually in that realm. Which is just crazy though. For me, being in there for just not that long, translated and calculated, was that long. This is just, I don't know. Now, I've been told by something else that, or I would say by my spirit team, that there's something else involved that I did not know about, was that there is other hell realms, which I am aware of. I knew there was one hell realm that exists on the other side. But the other thing I do want to tell you guys that time itself, it behaves very differently in other hell realms. So, but obviously I didn't get that much information because I don't think my spirit want me to, or my spirit team, they don't want me to know much about this because I'm very certain they believe I'm not ready to know. further on about this topic. But yeah, for me being in there for a little over 2 minutes, that translated or pretty much calculated my time in there for 1,835,700,350 years. This is just something else that I've never thought I would hear from my spirit team. Man. I don't know what to say, fellas. I don't know. This is just something that I never thought I would see for myself. I never thought I would experience that for the first time in my life, to see what hell looks like. Now, hell can be different for anyone else. So, like I said, there are other hell realms that exist in the cosmos, but hell can be very different from anyone that you can truly see it for yourself. But obviously, I would not advise anyone to try this, but there's one important thing though. You can't always expect the way how you would see things in your spiritual journey. So, this is one of the cases where I was not expecting, and for you light bearers out there, I don't want to say something like too negative, but I mean, who knows? You might get something like this too, which is accidentally going to hell. Which, I might sound a bit too negative, but I'm not saying it. I'm trying to give you guys bad luck, but I'm just saying though, it might happen, may not. So, man. But yeah, this is probably one of the craziest stories I've ever given so far in my spiritual journey. And hell does exist, fellas. It truly does exist. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, am I gonna recover from this? It's a possibility I might recover from this, but even though it's been kind of like a long time, but this still kind of haunts me to this day. But I've kind of learned how to kind of make sure that I don't let this topic get the best of me. Oh man. And I do want to say one last thing that I do want to tell you guys to remember is that I don't believe this will be the last time I've traveled to hell. I don't believe this will be the last, because this is still the very beginning of what I saw from the darkness. I don't know when I'll travel back into hell, but who knows what might happen in the distant future. Who knows? Hopefully you guys enjoyed my unspeakable testimony for what I saw in hell. Yeah, it's horrifying, I will admit that, but I wasn't even afraid, but I was like brave enough to like think about what can I do to escape. And I did escape in the end. You guys take care. We'll mind all of you guys. Stay shiny out there. I'll see you guys next time.